Hello everybody and welcome to another video. My name is ROHO and today you're going to learn how to sketch a hand, la mano. It's going to be roughly 10 to 15 minutes, so get comfortable and enjoy your process. And here we go. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put my left hand down in somewhat this position, comfortable, easy enough, and I'm going to trace it. Now this is just one of many different ways you can do to draw a hand. You can freehand it. Get it? You can freehand it? Never mind. Anyways, this is one way. You can just trace the general outline of your hand just to give you a sense. Again, everyone starts off in a different level. Some are more advanced artists than others, and that's okay. Again, this is just one trick that you could do. So that's my general shape. And again, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to get comfortable. I'm going to start to draw the general outline of it. And I'm going to put my hand down and try to draw the hand in that position as best I can in a quick sketch. Again, this is why I like this type of exercises, because it's an exercise. It's not going to be a perfect drawing right off the bat. It's going to be a sketch of the hand that you're drawing. And again, hands are somewhat difficult for the most part. It's very easy to draw a hand that doesn't look anatomically correct. Okay, people draw hands, and in the beginning, when I went to, even before I went to art school, when I was a kid, hands never looked like hands. And so it just takes time to get good at something. And so off picture, I have my hand laying out, and I'm just basically sketching out the form of the fingers as best I can. So as you're sketching each finger and each detail of the hand, again, don't be too hard on the paper. So don't push down too hard right away with your pencil. Okay, at this point in the sketch, you want to keep it kind of light on the paper, until you get certain lines in there. And then as you gradually gain confidence, then you can start to press down hard. But in this phase, it's basically just kind of sketching out lots of lines onto the paper to kind of mimic the shape and the texture of your hand. And again, this will be a good exercise for drawing on a daily basis. When I was a kid, I remember drawing almost every single day. And again, I would get frustrated because my drawings sometimes didn't look like how I wanted them to look. But I was a kid, and so I knew if I stuck to it, I would eventually get better. And through time, I eventually did. So if you're a first-time artist, that's something that you're going to have to go through. It's called gaining confidence in your ability. You're going to get better the more you stick with it. It's going to be frustrating at times, and that's okay. That's a part of the process. And so the point is to kind of have fun along the way. If it ends up looking a bit goofy, that's okay too. It's a part of your process, okay? Especially if this is going to be your first time drawing a hand. Okay, hands can look a bit goofy right off the back. They don't look like the finished drawing. They don't look like the hand until the very end. And sometimes that's the case whenever you're drawing something realistically. So just keep that in mind as you're drawing your hand. And so, again, you can use any pencil you feel comfortable with. I got accustomed to using this mechanical pencil only because I don't have to keep sharpening my pencil. I can just give it a few clicks and I'm ready to go to continue the drawing. Again, you're the artist. You can choose any material that you're comfortable with using. This is just something I got accustomed to using. Right around this, because of the way I lay down my hand, the two fingers at the end show a little bit of foreshortening, and that just is going to require just a bit more attention when I develop the shading and the detailed wrinkles of the fingers. Again, it depends on how you lay down your hand, but foreshortening just demands a bit more patience, and so just kind of bear with me. As you can see here, I needed to look a bit closer and to kind of show you how the fingers are laid out, how some of the lines are laid out on my hand. You know, your reference is right there, so just kind of constantly keep going back and forth. And so again, I'm just trying to have a fun time sketching this hand. Again, it's just a sketch. Okay, I don't want you guys to think that, oh, I want this to be perfect right off the back. I want this to be a photorealistic. I mean, if that's your goal, then I'd say go for it, but it's going to require a lot of more patience. So this might be the initial sketch, right, of your hand, and you might need to develop more time dedicated to making it a bit more realistic. But that's not this exercise. This exercise is just about drawing the hand and getting comfortable with a sketch. I'm switching up here with my trusty 6B pencil. And a 6B, again, is just a darker lead. And so the lead pencil can get pretty dark, but I like to switch it up with this 6B to give it more of a dynamic range of shadow and darks. And so right around now, I just want to show a little bit more shadow and shade. So I'm just kind of blending with my finger. Again, this is one of many different type of techniques. You can use tissue, or you can use a napkin. So those things can also be used to blend. And so some people don't like getting dirty, don't like getting lead on the finger. I personally just like it just because it's kind of an artsy thing to do. And I like the way the technique blends the lead. And so you're the artist. You can do it however which way you feel comfortable with doing. And another technique when you're drawing a hand and fingers is to not only crosshatch, but you can curve your lines to give it a sense of direction. So if you notice on some of my fingers that I have drawn out, they're lines that show texture, but they also show a curveness to it. So if you look closely, those curved stroke lines pretty much show that the shape of the finger has a sense of realism to it. Because for example, if I just drew lines going up and down, it would look cool kind of in a graphic sense, but it wouldn't look as realistic as it can look. And so that's why I recommend kind of drawing and sketching the lines in the shape of the hand. So as you can see here, I'm curving the lines that I'm drawing in to give it a sense of realism. And so I also grab my eraser and just kind of erase some of those lines. Again, at this point in the drawing, I want to have fun with where the highlight is hitting and the shadows are going, and so you're going to be going back and forth grabbing different materials. So if you see here, I grabbed my 6B because I want to draw and shade a little bit more around this finger, and so I wanted to switch it up. Now I'm going with detailed eraser, bringing back some highlight and going back with the darks with the 6B pencil. And the beauty of 6B is that as soon as you apply it, it shows up pretty dark. You don't have to press down hard on the paper. Versus my lead pencil, I would normally have to press down hard to give it that sense of bold, darkest dark. And so that's why I like going back and forth from my mechanical pencil to my 6B pencil. And so at this point I noticed that because that finger is kind of bent a little bit, it's having a cast shadow underneath it. And so I noticed that, and so I started to bring in some blending and start to kind of indicate where the shadow is. And so again, that's the beauty of sketching. At some point in time while you're drawing, it's just going to be natural. You're going to be drawing and sketching and doing all these activities, and you're not even going to know. You're just going to naturally develop this sense of flow, as they call it. And so that's the beauty of whenever you're doing something artistic, whether it's playing an instrument or drawing, you kind of have a nice moment where, hey, what happened? A half hour passed by and it feels like it was only 5 minutes. And so that's the beauty of when you get passionate about something. Again, this is just a sketch, so it's just a quick exercise of drawing. But the more you exercise this type of technique and this type of skill, the more you'll start to develop it. and it will become more of a easier thing to do compared to the first time you drew something. So grabbing my 6B, I want to show a little bit more cast shadow. Because of the pinky being bent that way, it is leaving a cast shadow underneath it. Again, it gives it that sense of realism. And so again, I'm going to be going back and forth, cross-hatching, switching it up with my lead pencil, blending it with my finger, all these different techniques. And the more you do these type of exercises, the more you'll start to develop your own personal style of drawing and your own techniques. And so the beauty of it is just to kind of explore and enjoy your particular process. I'm showing you one way of doing it, and again, there's hundreds of different ways of how to draw, so enjoy your process. And again, drawing in a curved line to show the bent of the finger. Again, going back and forth with realism. You know, you want to not only sketch and have fun with that, but if you see a curve in the finger or in the shape of your hand, go ahead and draw that in. And again, have fun with this sketch, because at a certain point you're going to be, hey, you're done, just like we are here. I feel at this point in time, I'm pretty happy with the sketch. I don't want to go overboard and make it super realistic. I just want to kind of have a glance at it and say, hey, this is a sketch of a hand. And that was the project that I wanted to do. And again, having a nice dark outline. The contour line of the hand is a bit more bold, so make sure you have that, so that the hand kind of pops out of that paper, and it looks good to the viewer at the same time. And so I think right here I'm just kind of executing some more shadow and some more blending. And I think I'm done. And if you are done, go ahead and sign it. And I hope you enjoyed your process on how to sketch a hand. And that's it, you're done. Pencils down. I hope you enjoy the process on how to sketch a hand from start to finish. If you enjoy the video, let me know. Hit subscribe so I can continue to produce this type of content for everyone. And remember, every day is an opportunity to create something beautiful. Adios.